Hey everyone, my name is Shakira and my partner is Samantha. We are going to be talking about voyeurism. So, voyeurism refers to the act of experiencing sexual arousal from fantasizing about or viewing an unsuspecting person who is naked or having sex. It is one of the most common sexual behavior variations, even though it is illegal in many cultures, and many of you may recognize these individuals as peeping toms. For them, the interest is usually more in the act of watching rather than in the individual being watched. And an important fact is that the victim doesn't know that they are being watched. And of course, voyeurs found that really sexually arousing. The person being observed could be in the privacy of their home or another place that they feel private, like a restroom or a locker room. Having voyeuristic desires might never progress from a fantasy. However, once these desires become having sexual fantasies or urges that causes distress, then that's when it becomes a disorder. Like when the individual engages in activities that violate the other person's privacy, so may even record them for later viewing, have recurrent and intense desires to watch others without their consent, and when these desires get in the way of their lives. So it's important to understand that a defining feature of voyeurism is repeating the behavior over time. For example, one study of men undergoing treatment for voyeurism found that on average, they reported having spied upon 470 people. And this is only looking at voyeurs who have been caught in the act or recalling past events. So for someone who is better at concealing their behaviors, that number could be higher. To give you guys a little bit of history, in 1945, psychoanalyst Otto Fenichel described the case of a study of a male who rented a room and obtained gratification by looking through a peephole into an adjoining room where another man and woman were having intercourse. This man would begin to cry as the activities progressed, and according to Fenichel, the man was experiencing intense feelings of anxiety and desired that the woman will leave her partner and come to comfort him. But instead, the man just masturbates and leave feeling calm and relaxed, only to return the next day and repeat the scenario because some voyeurs may engage in masturbation, but it's not a necessity. If we talk about the causes, there are many possible causes, but none has been scientifically proven. But there are some risk factors that could coincide with a person becoming a voyeur, such as sexual abuse, substance abuse, and hypersexuality. It could also stem from an accidental sighting of someone taking their clothes off, already naked, or engaging in sexual activities. There is a belief that children who grow up watching their parents having sex can feel sexually aroused by seeing other people engage in that. Operant conditioning may provide another possible explanation in the sense that if spying on others is incredibly rewarding the first time, for example, if the first time was accompanied by a powerful orgasm, it is more likely that the behavior will occur again. And some interesting facts I wanted to share was that experts suggest that if given the opportunity, a lot of people have voyeuristic tendencies but won't admit it. But just having some tendencies doesn't make it a paraphilia. Continued viewing then could reinforce a behavior that could get to a point where it goes beyond what's considered normal or culturally acceptable. And the other one was that the minimum age for a diagnosis of voyeurism is 18 years old because it is difficult to distinguish if it's related to the paraphilia or if it's from puberty related sexual curiosity and activity.
Hi, our second part of our presentation on voyeurism is about demographics. So the demographics about voyeurism is for the people who are viewed, it's typically females, which doesn't actually surprise me as most sexual violence is committed against females, and this being under the umbrella of that. And the average age for first conviction of this offense was exactly 23.8 years old, so about 24 years old, or the average age of people who are convicted of voyeurism. One thing that is uncommon in the demographics of voyeurism, and that's uncommon in the demographics of voyeurism, unlike other kinks and such, is that most of the people who commit this act are not married, which being married is typical among most of the other acts that we're going over in this unit. So the frequency is about 42% of college men in a rural sample reported that engaged in voyeurism, which is a pretty high percentage, even from a rural college, which I'm assuming is a smaller college, that they have watched someone either undress or commit a sexual activity. And 61% of men at a university who was sampled, a different one, would engage in voyeurism if the likelihood of getting caught was 25%, which is still pretty high, especially for the chance of getting caught being 25%. So a lot of people are willing to risk the getting caught for the reward of this sexual pleasure. However, it is estimated that the highest possible lifetime prevalency is 12% in males and 4% females, which males making up the 3 times more likely to occur than females. Our references are from scientifically reviewed articles, and that's all we have for the effects of voyeurism and about it. And it's mostly very harmful because it is harming people's privacy and their personal autonomy. Thank you for listening.